The group was able to get up the stairs while they were inside one of the stores. They had found a way back out and into the streets of Riverbank. They then walked down the street until they were at a wedding scene that looked like it at the park. There was a witch who was a bride. I have never seen a witch bride before. This would make a good movie, Ellie said, as Ellis was soon hit by a spitball. Hey, whoever is hitting me with spitballs, please stop, Ellis said. And then Zoe heard Tootle and his gang messing around like losers. I have a feeling I know who's doing that, Zoe said to Ellis. Hey, it's Sister Bear with Zoe, Tootle said. And you must be their friends, Smirk said. Yeah, you're the motherfuckers that shot at us, Nick said. Nick, calm down. Let's tell them not to do that again, Coach suggested. What are you doing? Ellis asked as he was crossing his arms. Just messing around like teenage losers, Scuzz said. Can you please stop shooting spitballs at us, please? Ellis said nicely. Said you said please? Fuck you to that, dude, Tootle said as he kicked Ellis in the nuts so hard that Ellis grabbed his groin with two of his hands. While he was groaning in pain, he fell on the ground. That made Zoe angry. Hey, you can't do that, Zoe shouted as she grabbed an axe and started to charge at them. Tootle and his gang then started running away and screaming at the same time. Calm down, Ellie said, but no one was listening until Zoe chased Tootle along with his gang away. Then she ran towards Ellis. Ellis, are you okay? Zoe asked as Ellis breathed heavily in pain. Not really. My nuts were kicked so hard, he moaned in pain as he slowly stood up. Are you sure you're going to be okay? Rochelle asked. Yeah, those are going to be hurt and sore for a while, Ellis replied, as he was walking with one hand over it. Ellis, sweetie, that hurts like hell being kicked there, Zoe said. Even it hurts when a girl gets kicked there, but for guys, it's worse. What's, well, nuts? Sister asked, as Zoe sighed and looked at Sister Bear. It's something that guys have, and it's very sensitive to them. So when they're kicked there, it hurts for them, Zoe explained to Sister in the most kid-friendly way possible. Do they have any purpose at all, or something? Sister asked, as both Zoe and Ellis face-palmed. That's for another time, Sister, when you're older, Ellis replied. Well, Sister, maybe when you're older I can explain that, Zoe said as Ellis was getting up. You okay now? I feel better, but, my area is going to be sore, Ellis replied. Now let's try not to get kicked there again, Ellie said. Okay, Nick said, as he ran to kick Ellis in the nuts again when Ellis kicked Nick in the nuts. It caused him to fall down to the ground in pain. Rochelle, Zoe, Ellie, Sister, Coach, and Ellis all laughed. You are an asshole, Rochelle laughed. This isn't funny, Nick grumbled under his breath. Ignore what he said, Ellis said. It's Zoe's 19th birthday tomorrow, Sister said. Happy early birthday, girl. I'm so excited for you, Rochelle said as she hugged Zoe. Sorry, bitch. Your honeymoon is over, Nick said as he walked up to the witch. After getting up from the ground, he took a pistol and shot the witch in the head. We should find a safe room. It should be here somewhere, Ellie said. You know what? I should totally marry that Zoe girl, Ellis said to Nick. Marrying her would be the last thing you would want to do, Nick replied as Ellis pushed Nick out of the way. The safe room is somewhere, but let's get out of here, Coach said. The group then left the wedding grounds as they fought some more zombies along the way. As soon as the group made it to the next safe room, they took a break. Once they were prepared again, they walked out of the safe room to another exit. We gotta hurry, I missed my car, Ellis said. We're in the city of Rayford. They used to have a boiled peanut festival. There, good memories, Coach said. The street's this way, Rochelle pointed out. I saw something, over there, Zoe pointed out. What's that? Rochelle asked as Zoe picked up the baseball bat. It's Brother's baseball, Zoe replied. So we must be getting close to where Farmer Ben and Brother are, Sister said. The more clues Farmer Ben leaves, then that will mean we're getting closer, Ellie said. The group then walked down the street from the safe room to find bloodstains. There's a lot of blood. I hope it's the only infected's blood and not Brother's. Oh God, I hope Ellie's right. This would turn out cool in a horror movie, Rochelle said, as Zoe was grabbed by a smoker and she cried for help. Sister ran out from the alleyway. Zoe's in trouble! Someone help! Please! Sister said as Ellis grabbed his combat shotgun, ran towards the alleyway to find Zoe being hung by a smoker. As he shot the smoker, killing him instantly, Zoe was on the ground tied up in a smoker's tongue. Ellis eventually freed Zoe. Here, girl, you're free, he said, as Zoe gave Ellis a hug. Thanks, Ellis, I owe you one, Zoe said, as Ellis helped Zoe up. Now which way should we go? Sister asked. Let's go this way. Follow me, Coach said. The group then followed Coach through the streets. They all stopped at a place called Club D. What does Club D mean? Sister asked. It's another word for nightclub, sister. You don't even want to know what that means, Ellie said. As the group found a pool bar, they went in there, and there was an old jukebox. Wow, this is cool, Sister said, as she was looking at the jukebox. This is a jukebox. It was a radio that was used before CD players were made, Zoe said, as Ellis played around with the jukebox for a bit, then when he was able to get it working. Alright, this jukebox still works, he said as the music started playing. Then Sister could hear someone. Zoe, there's a hunter outside, Sister said as Zoe threw a Molotov at the hunter, and he was eventually burning to death. Within minutes of watching the hunter suffer in pain from burning, the hunter was eventually killed by the fire. All right, Zoe cheered, as she and Sister both gave each other high fives. When then the group dropped down to the flooded street, which was at the water's level of their ankles, they walked through the house and went upstairs, and then got on top of the house to find a wooden strong plank that made a path for the group to walk across the other side. All right, we can cross this, just don't look down, Ellis said, as everyone, one at a time, crosses the plank. But Sister, on the other hand, was scared, so Zoe slowly walked towards Sister. You scared? She asked. I can't go on. I'm too scared, Sister said as she backed away from the plank. Just pick her up and put her around your back, Ellis suggested it. Zoe picked up Sister, and she was on Zoe's back as she held on to Zoe around her neck. The girls then crossed the wooden planks, and everyone was on the other building, so they all found another street from outside of the other building. So they all walked down the street until they found an underground tunnel of the streets. So they went down through the underground. It's so neat, Sister said. It's cool, look at all these roots, Ellie said. It's so amazing on how you can have an adventure with your friends. The group then walked through the underground tunnel, as it had a boomer in one area, a spitter in the other, and soon the ground had another tunnel with water, so there was a bridge that needed to be lowered. When the bridge is lowered down, it will make a lot of noise, Ellis said, as he called down the bridge by pressing a button. It caused 2 hordes of infected to attack the group. They were able to shoot down 2 of the hordes down, which the fight lasted until every infected was dead. After they were out of that watery part of the tunnel, they found a safe room in a dry area. Safe room up ahead, Ellis called, as the group ran inside the safe room. Once everyone was safe, they prepared themselves, and then they all walked out of the safe room and walked up the stairs until they were back on where they almost started. Francis and Louis were up on the bridge. You guys made it. You all okay? Louis asked. Yep, we're all okay, Louis. We're just going to stop Farmer Ben. He is now the new enemy to fight along to save Brother Bear. Zoe replied. I was hoping you two could join us. Well, we'd love to, Zoe, but Louis is injured at the moment and we are safe up here, Francis replied. We better get you all on your way. Head down there and fill up that generator. Me and Francis will cover you up from up here, Louis said. Sounds good, thanks, Louis and Francis, Zoe said, as the group all got inside the elevator. Now, Ellis, keep your mind and eyes on the gas, not on the girl for now, Coach said. The last thing you need is a distraction. All right, but she sure is beautiful, Ellis said, as the elevator's doors opened up. All the group ran outside everywhere to find at least 10 gas cans to fill up the generator. Zoe and Sister, along with Ellis and Ellie, walked into a room where they stood to look at Bill, whose body was dead, cold, stiff. No, is that Bill? Sister asked as Zoe started to have tears a little. Yes, he did what he had to save us all. I'm glad his sacrifice for us wasn't worth it. It was worth something, Zoe said. Who's Bill? Ellie asked. Zoe then explained to Ellie and Ellis on who Bill was before he died to save the group. He even helped everyone stop Witter Jones and save the cubs that she took, as Sister was one of them during that Halloween fiasco. And Zoe started to have some flashbacks about it. We have to make it to the bridge ride so we can all be safe. Then someone will have to sacrifice themselves to save us, Bill said. And I'll do it. Everyone was shocked to see that Bill was going to sacrifice himself just to save the group. Bill, why? Zoe asked. You can't do that. I have to, Zoe. It's the only way I can save you guys, Bill replied, as Zoe's eyes started to swell with tears. I'll do it, Lewis offered, but Bill stopped them from doing so. He wanted everyone to live. I want you all to live so you could say your last goodbyes to me, Bill said, as everyone said their goodbyes and Zoe was crying. Zoe, I know this is tough, but I want you to know something. You're like a daughter to me, or even a granddaughter to me, even because I'm not your real dad. I love you, Zoe, Bill said as he hugged Zoe one last time, as she cries in his arms. The cubs and Mama began to cry too, as it was hard to watch Zoe cry and not have them cry as well. Goodbye, Bill. I will always remember you like if you're my dad or grandfather, Zoe sobbed as Bill grabbed his gun. Stay safe, Bill replied. He walked down to the edge of the bridge, ran towards the horde of infected, along with 3 tanks. Eat fire, you sons of bitches! Bill snarled at the tanks that he restarted the last generator, ran into a room where he looked at the free tanks. He had his last cigarette, and it was the end of him. I understand how you feel, Zoe. Losing someone that you love and is that close to you can be very heartbreaking, Ellis said, as Zoe, who got out of her trance of flashback, looked at Bill's deceased body one last time. She took one of his pockets to find a picture of him with Zoe and all of their friends, including Winter Jones, who was a villain until when she fought with him. This is all I will have left of him, Zoe said, handing Ellis the picture. He held Zoe in his arms as she cries a bit in his chest for a bit. I lost my parents when the outbreak happened. I know losing parents, even anyone, is very tough and sad, Ellie said. You feeling better? Ellis asked. Yes, Zoe said as she cries the last of her tears out. Now let's go and see where everyone is out at, and we'll keep fighting for Bill, Zoe said. As the generator just needed one more gas can, the infected were all shot down. Ellis then found a gas can fill up the generator, and the bridge began to lower itself down. So everyone ran across the bridge, and they all jumped into Jimmy Gibbs' car. Be safe, Zoe. Good luck on finding brother, Francis said. We will, Francis, Zoe smiled. Take care of Zoe, Sister Bear, Lewis asked. I will, Lewis. I hope we run into each other again someday, Sister said as Ellis drove the car across the bridge, waving goodbye to Francis and Lewis. Maybe we could follow them once I'm better, Lewis asked to Francis as they waved goodbye to Zoe and their friends, as they sped away until the car was out of sight. After driving for at least 8 hours, the group ended up driving in a Griffin country in Georgia. How much farther do we have to go? Ellie asked. I have no idea. These streets have been very quiet, Ellis replied. Then he slowly stops the car. Why did you stop, Ellis? Sister asked. Is something wrong? Look at all these stopped vehicles. There is no way this Jimmy Gibbs car will get around all that, Lewis asked. Ellis said as he cursed himself in anger. Look at me. Look at this. We're all fucked. Well, Ellis, I guess we're walking from here on out, Nick said. So does that mean we have to leave the car? Sister asked as everyone was getting out of the car. I'm afraid so, Sister. But don't worry. Ellis got us this far. He will find another way, Zoe said. Then Zoe realized that it was her 19th birthday. Hey everyone, it's Zoe's 19th birthday today, Ellie said as everyone hugged Zoe. Happy birthday, girl. How does it feel to be 19? Coach asked. It feels like I'm getting older, but I am sure that year for me, being 19 years old, I can sure hope it can get better, Zoe said. We can only hope, Nick added. Well, y'all, We'll be walking, Ellis said as the group prepared themselves. As they went to a safe area of the car, they were walking down the highway when Ellis saw a sign that says, Whispering Oaks. Look at this here, Ellis said, pointing out the sign. Whispering Oaks! Shit, I used to go there when I was a kid, Coach said. Oh, great. Now we could die here as adults, Nick said, as Zoe gave him a scaring look on her face. Shut up, Zoe mumbled under her breath, as the group started to shoot down the wandering zombies. They started to walk through the piling cars that stopped on the highway. Soon they found a ramp that they can get out of the highway. Zoe, since it's your birthday today, can I tell you something? Ellis asked her. Yeah, Ellis, what is it? Zoe asked. Well, it's just that I have a huge crush on you, Ellis said to Zoe as he stared at Zoe's emerald green eyes. Really? Zoe asked. Is that how you feel about me? Yes, Zoe. I felt that about you the day we met. I wish I could have told you before, but I thought you wouldn't see me the same way about me, Ellis replied as he placed his hands on his waist, but he was hesitant. He took his hands away from her. You can have my hands on me, Ellis, Zoe said as Ellis placed his hands on Zoe's waist. I felt the same way about you. You're funny, kind, smart, strong. You even have a soft spot in your heart for kids, Zoe said as she placed her arms around his neck. You even offered to help us find Brother Bear. Wow, Zoe, I guess I never knew I was like that. You're the same way, Ellis said as he pulled Zoe close to him. So if you're uncomfortable with this, Zoe, I understand. Ellis, I'm good with this, Zoe said, as they heard a zombie as Ellis was about to shoot it down. Zoe threw a knife at the zombie and it killed him with one shot as the knife went through his head. Wow, you're good, Ellis said, as he and Zoe were back in the embrace moment until the zombie wandering showing up. Now where was I? I said to you is that I am good with this, and the fact that you have a crush on me, Zoe said. All I could say is now I had a crush on you too, Ellis. He was flustered by Zoe's words, and that she also had a crush on him. I'm amazed, Zoe. I've always liked you a lot, Ellis said as he and Zoe looked into each other's eyes. I love you, Ellis, Zoe said, as Ellis and Zoe slowly kissed each other. They were feeling each other's lips locked together. After a minute of the kiss, they soon broke it, and then they looked at each other. I love you too, Zoe, Ellis replied, as Rochelle saw what Ellis told Zoe and smiled. Then Ellis smiled back at Rochelle as Coach joined in. See, Ellis, I knew you had it in you, Coach said. I finally confessed to her that I love her, Ellis said as the group all caught up with Ellie, Nick, and Sister Bear at a motel. What took you guys so long? Sister Bear asked. Ellis was saying to me that he loves me, Zoe replied. Really? That's amazing. It's like a fairy tale dream, Sister said as she saw Too Tall behind Ellis. He reached into Ellis's back pocket and took his wallet, as Ellis felt his wallet being taken from his back pockets. Hey! Ellis said, as he saw Too Tall and his gang laughing as they were walking up on the highway. Zoe and Ellis, along with Ellie and Sister, followed Too Tall and his gang. They were trapped with Coach and Nick and Rochelle blocking the way, and either way was blocked by Sister, Ellis, and Zoe and Ellie. Why is everyone blocking our ways? Scuzz asked. Give Ellis back his wallet. He needs it, Sister said. Forget it. I wonder if he's rich, Too Tall asked as he was about to look for Ellis's wallet. Hey, that's not yours to snoop, Ellie and Zoe said. Too Tall saw his debit card, credit card, and driver's license, and also some gift cards and some cash. Give Ellis back his wallet now, Nick growled to warn Too Tall as he gave Ellis back his wallet. If you ever do this shit again, then you'll be sorry, Ellis said as he cocked his gun on the safety off. Too Tall and his gang ran away screaming as a tank started to chase them. However, he didn't know that there were survivors around. Well, that was something weird, Rochelle laughed. Everything's all right now, Ellis said as he was sweating hot. Oh, I'm sweating like no tomorrow. Ellis then took off his shirt to reveal his strong chest, and even had a tattoo on his arm and on his chest. Cool tattoos on him. Can I have one? Sister asked. I don't think Cubs should have them, even for you, Sister, Zoe said. What I mean is that yes, you can have a tattoo, but it will stay on you for the rest of your life. Plus, you would have to be an adult to get one. Your chest is cool. I wish I could have a tattoo, Sister said to Ellis. Maybe when you're all grown up, you might decide to get one. The one on my arm, I had that since I turned 20. And this one on my chest is the one I got before the infection started, Ellis said. Does it hurt? Sister asked. It does hurt getting one, yes. How it hurts is that people have needles that go in your skin to make a tattoo, and it does hurt. I was in pain when I first got mine done, Ellis replied, as Zoe showed off her tattoo on the side of her stomach. It was a horse galloping. Even she has a tattoo too, that's cool, Ellie said as Sister walked away. Zoe and Ellis looked at each other. I wonder what bothered her, Zoe wondered. Then the rest of the group got out of the motel plaza and saw a hill. Watch out, guys, this hill looks pretty steep, Rochelle said as she was about to slide down the first hill. Whoa! Nick was the second person to slide down. Whoa, shit! He was soon met with Rochelle at the bottom of the hill. Whoa, hold on now, Coach said as he, along with Ellie, Lee, and Sister slid down the hill. Whoa! Ellis said as he slid down. Zoe then slid down without saying a word. Heard whoa, she said, Here I come! She then slides down the hill as Ellis was about to get knocked down to the ground when Zoe fell in his arms. Whoa, whoa, hey! He then said as he caught Zoe. You okay? Zoe asked. Yeah, I'm alright, Zoe. Ellis sighed as he had dreamy eyes looking into Ellis's eyes. Man, this is the best day of my life. Whispering Oaks Amusement Park should be down this stream, and there should be a hill we can get up on, Ellie said. As the group walked down the stream, they then came across and killed a couple of wandering zombies. They even ran into a charger and killed him along with another smoker. Soon the group makes it to Whispering Oaks. Whispering Oaks! We made it! Ellis said as the ground group went inside the safe house in front of the amusement park. While the group was in the safe room, they were preparing themselves so they can be ready to go through the fairgrounds. What is up with Sister? Ellis asked Zoe. I have no clue. She was quiet since we got here in the safe room, Zoe replied. I think she's going through a lot of stress since brother went missing, Ellie said. I know having someone you're close with are missing can be stressful. That may be one answer, but we'll have to keep an eye on her, Zoe said, as Ellis and Coach looked at the walls of their safe house to see a few posters of the Midnight Riders. Check it out, that's the Midnight Riders, Ellis said. Never heard of them. Are they good? Nick asked. Boy, you are missing out on good music. The Midnight Riders are an awesome band, Coach replied. Can we go to one of their concerts? Sister asked. Of course we can. That's if they're alive, even when the outbreak ends, Ellis replied. Let's see if we can find Farmer Ben and brother, Zoe said, as the group started to walk out of the safe room, and they were all on the fairgrounds. There is a game over there, Ellie said as she pointed at the game, where you could win the gnome. Wow, these games still work? Sister asked. They sure do, Ellis said, as Zoe rested her hand on Ellis's chest. All these signs are gonna make me hungry, Coach said, as Zoe felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen. So she raced to the bathroom as Ellis looked to see where Zoe had gone. Where did Zoe go? Ellie asked. I have no idea. Maybe she went to the bathroom? Ellis asked as Sister, along with Ellie and Ellis, went towards the washrooms, where the ladies' room is. Zoe, are you okay? He called out. I'm fine, Ellis. I'll be out. Zoe called back. She's on her, well, I guess you get the picture, Sister whispered in Ellis's ear. Oh, Ellis said, realizing that Zoe was on her period. Zoe came out and looked at Ellis, who was having bad cramps. Yes, Ellis, I'm on my time of the month if you didn't hear Sister, she said. Sister gave me a hint on that. You just started? Ellis asked. Yeah, I'll be okay, Zoe said. I will be a bit slow due to the pain, so this means I can become a mom if I wanted children. I learned about that. It was embarrassing, but I needed to know that, Ellis said, as Zoe tried to walk, but stopped. You want to rest for a while? I'll be okay if the pain wasn't too bad, Zoe said as Ellis sat beside her, while the rest of the group were looking around the food stands. Well, Zoe, I've always wanted children of my own, Sister said, Ellis said as Zoe smiled and Sister was watching them. You want kids? She asked. Of course I do, Zoe. I want kids with the one I love. but that's whenever you're ready. I'm not going to force this on you, Ellis said as Rochelle saw Zoe and Ellis sitting down. You okay? Rochelle asked Zoe, not noticing that Zoe was on her time of the month. It's a girl thing I'm on, Rochelle, Zoe replied. Alright, if you want some Mildol, I got some. Rochelle handed a bottle of water, along with some Mildol, to which Zoe took a dose of Mildol, and then some water to wash it down. I'll be okay, Zoe said. That's good. I'm finishing up my time, Zoe, Rochelle said, so I do understand how you feel. You okay, Zoe? Ellie asked. Yeah, I'm just cramping, but I'll be okay, Ellie, Zoe replied. Alright, I found some hot dogs, and they look good to eat, Coach said. You cooked hot dogs? Sister asked, as Coach and the rest of the group walked to the hot dog stand. Yep, and here is ice cream. The ice cream stand is still good, Nick replied. The group had dinner, which was hot dogs, and then they all had ice cream for dessert and all enjoyed it. The ice cream is good, Sister said as Zoe picked up Sister. Zoe! Sister laughed as Zoe spun her around playfully. I really do see a mother in that girl, Ellis, Rochelle said as Ellis nudged at Rochelle with his elbow. How do you see that? He asked. Well, I do see how she looks after Sister. I could see her as a mom someday, Rochelle replied. And I can see you as a dad someday too. Really? Wow, no one's ever thought of us as parents, Ellis said, as the group then walked through a building until they found another play area, which was called Kittyland. Wow, this is cool, Ellie said. Holy shit, guys! Kittyland! Ellis said in excitement. He's like a 5-year-old with guns, Nick replied. It does feel like we're babysitting him, Coach sighed as Sister and Zoe started to laugh. I wish I could be happy, Rochelle sighed, but then she decided to be happy just this once. To hell with it! Kittyland! Rochelle said excitedly as the group went through Kittyland. I want to ride one, just one, Ellis said as he jumped on one of the trains, but just as he was about to sit down in the train, he was getting close to getting stuck. Ellis, you're too big for those rides, Zoe laughed. You'll get stuck. We're even too big, Ellie said as Sister jumped in. Can we ride one, please? Sister asked. Not today, Sister. If we start this ride, it may attract the zombies, Ellie said, as Sister sighed sadly as she climbed out of the ride along with Ellis. What kind of shitty behavior is she doing? Ellis whispered to Zoe. She's got the gimmies, Zoe whispered back. We'll see what she does next, Ellis said, as the group then climbed through one building to find a tank at the bottom of the building. He has not noticed the group. Can we go down the slide? Please, 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 Sister asked. Sure, Zoe said as the group all slid down the giant slide and soon alerted the tank, and then the fight started. After about 5 minutes of fighting the tank, he was dead. It was a quick fight, but they were quick enough to take down the tank. You all okay? Coach asked the group. Yeah, we're all okay, Ellis said as the group climbed the stairs to the other side of the building, to which was another part of the fairgrounds. They all shot down the wandering zombies before jumping down. They ran towards the merry-go-round ride. Wow, now I'm pretty sure that this will make a lot of noise, so there will be a huge horde of infected once this gate opens, Ellie said, as Ellis opened the gate and the group ran inside. A horde of zombies started to attack the survivors. They were able to shoot down the horde when a smoker grabbed Ellis. Mother tongue! Ellis cried for help as the smoker was attacking him. Shoot the tongue! Shoot the tongue! He groaned. Ellie along with Zoe were able to shoot down the smoker. Then a jockey was chasing Sister when she screamed. It alerted the group as the jockey got on Sister and was taking her away from the group. Sister! Zoe shouted as she was running towards her to save her when hordes of zombies were blocking her way. Coach, however, was able to wrestle the jockey off of Sister, who was terrified and scared. Once the horde of zombies was down, Coach killed the jockey. Zoe, who was in pain from her time of the month, fell to the ground as she was exhausted. Zoe! Ellis said as he picked Zoe up. Oh, you're still breathing, that's good. Rochelle then checked. Sure enough, Zoe was tired. She'll be fine, she's just tired, Rochelle said as Zoe's sister was soon crying while Coach was comforting her. Zoe woke up weakly to see her sister crying. "Oh no," Zoe said weakly as she was being held by Ellis. "You okay?" Coach asked, as Ellie hugged the crying bear cub. "Yeah, I'm just so exhausted. This is not how my birthday should have turned out," Zoe said as she was carried to the safe room, to which was the tunnel of love. She looked at Sister, who was crying still. Zoe had enough energy just to get up and walk towards Sister. "That jockey was riding me," Sister sobbed. "I know, sis. I'm sorry I couldn't save you like I would have thought. I was trying to save you, but the horde of zombies were in my way at that point, but at least Coach had saved you," Zoe said, as she pulled the crying bear cub into her arms. Sister cried on Zoe's shoulder as she patted her back. "I know, Sister. I need you to be strong for us." "I will try to be strong," said Sister. "I will keep you safe, Zoe," Ellis says, as he hugged both Sister and Zoe, reassuring them that everything will be okay. The group was all rest up, and they were all prepared to go through the tunnel of love. "Is this the tunnel of love?" asked Ellie. "Yes, it is, Ellie. This is amazing," Sister said. "Are you okay?" Ellis asked Zoe. My stomach hurts," Zoe replied. "I know it still hurts due to, well, but we'll just try not to think about the pain too much," Ellis said as he patted Zoe's back, pulled her into a hug, and then he heard Zoe beginning to cry. "You're okay, Zoe?" Sister asked. "She'll be okay, Sister. Just let me handle this," Ellis said, and then Sister had a saddened expression on her face and then walks away. Ellis then looked at him and her growling from his stomach. "Was that from you?" Zoe asked. "Yeah, it was me, Zoe. I haven't ate in a while. I have no idea when the last time I had a meal besides just not that long ago." Ellison saw that Zoe was still trying to get up. "I'll be okay, Ellis," Zoe said, as Ellie looked into her backpack and found a bag of cookies. "I found a bag of cookies while at the fairgrounds. I have them," Ellie said, as she handed a bag of cookies to Ellis. "What kind of cookies are they?" Ellis asked. "They're chocolate chips. I checked them to make sure they were still good to eat, and they are." Ellie offered the group some cookies, but neither of them were hungry, so only Ellis and Zoe were the only ones that were hungry. "Thanks, Ellie," Zoe said, as she and Ellis started to eat the cookies. Sister and Ellie only had a few. "Chocolate does help women when they're, well, Ellis said, as he hugs her and she feeds him a cookie. The group then started walking through the tunnel of love. Once everyone was ready, they continued the walk. "This water doesn't look natural," Coach said. "Yeah, so don't drink it," Nick added. "Careful," Zoe said. As the group were walking through the tunnels, Zoe then got splashed a bit by the water as Ellis caught her. "Whoa!" Ellis said as Zoe looked up into Ellis's eyes. "Hey, Ellis gotcha? Ain't nothing gonna happen to you now." "Hey, no smooching, y'all," Coach said to Ellis as Zoe snickered to laugh. In one of the rooms in the tunnel of love, Ellis found a katana sword. "Zoe!" he called. Zoe then ran towards the room where Ellis handed and first saw when he found a sword. "I want you to have this," he then said. At first Zoe wasn't sure, but Ellis wanted her to have it. "Yeah," he said. Then Zoe gave him a hug. "Man, this is the best day of my life," he then said as he hugged her back while he rubbed his hand with one hand and lightly moved the other towards her butt and give it a gentle squeeze. "Why did you touch my ass?" Zoe asked with a laugh. "Because your ass is soft like a pillow," he replied. "You're funny, Ellis," Zoe laughed. As the group walked around through the tunnel of love, they were able to find an exit out of the tunnel of love. "Finally, fresh air," Ellie said. "A helicopter. It looks like it's looking for survivors," Rochelle pointed out as Ellis saw a roller coaster titled the Screamin' Oak. Nick looked around and saw a jockey in the distance. He was able to shoot it down without a problem. "Aw man, that's the Screamin' Oak," Ellis said as the group hopped over the fence. When they got to the controls of the roller coaster, they turned it on. "Is anyone here?" Ellie asked. As she looked around, notices that Sister wasn't there with the group. "Where's Sister?" she asked. "Sister, where?" Coach said until she saw Sister on the roller coaster. "There you are. I'm starting it," Ellis said as he started the roller coaster ride. Sister smiles and laughs as she was riding the coaster, It went past the group where the gate opens, and the group ran inside the coaster and ran onto the tracks. The ride attracted the hordes of zombies, which the group was able to run on track and shoot down the zombies as much as they can while they run on the track. The alarm was annoying everyone. "Someone has to shut off the alarm," Rochelle said as they got to the end of the ride. They saw a sister who was off the roller coaster ride. Ellis ran to the controls after they reached the end of the track of the ride. He turned off the alarm that made the hordes of zombies stop showing up. "It's off," Ellis said. "Thank God, my ears are ringing like crazy," said Zoe. Then a hunter was about to pounce at Zoe when Ellie shot down the hunter. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah, thanks, Ellie," Zoe said as she hugged Ellie. "Safe room is in that shack. We just made it," Ellis said, as the group followed Ellis to the safe room, which was on a boardwalk. They then walked down the boardwalk until they reached the safe house. It was quiet, so everyone walked inside, and they were safe. "That was too close," Ellie said. "I know it was too close. With all the fights, infected hordes, this is something that might have been through if we were fighting through. I sure hope Brother Bear is going to be okay," Coach said. "I'm sure he is, Coach. I hope that bastard Farmer Ben didn't even hurt him. Because if he did, I'll grab that motherfucker and I'll slit his throat," Nick said. A sister was at the corner of the room not looking too happy. "What is up with Sister?" Ellie asked. "No idea. Maybe something's bugging her," Rochelle said. "I'll talk to her." Rochelle then walked over to Sister and crouched down to her level. "Hey, you okay?" Rochelle asked as Sister looked up. "Hey, Ro," Sister said. "Is everything okay?" Rochelle asked. "You've been pretty quiet." "Well, I'm just lonely," Sister said. "Why are you saying that? You have all of us," Rochelle said as she sat down beside Sister. "Ellis and Zoe have been spending more time with me and each other more than me. I think Zoe's starting to forget all about me," Sister said sadly. "Don't say things like that, Sister," Rochelle said as she patted the cub's head. "Ellis and Zoe just want to spend time together. They'll never forget about you." With Rochelle saying that, it made Sister better, but the group had decided that they will all rest in the safe room and will continue when they're ready.